LSU is a team that, of course, we play them home and home each and every year. But it's a team, coached by Will Wade, and they have some talent there. And the Mays kid, we remember him from last year, the Epps kid, the Reef kid, and they've added Tremont Waters, a kid that's one of the top 3 scorers in our league. I think he's one of the top assist guys. And so it's a very good basketball team. We won a big game on the road at A&M. And lost to a Kentucky team that was a real close game. So they've played a lot of tough games, and they play well. So it's a team coming in here, I'm sure, with the understanding that it's SEC, the sense of urgency where each game matters, and they're feeling a little confidence. And our guys are coming off of a tough loss to an Auburn team that's playing well. But one message I got to get to our guys is that we got to get defensive minded. That's going to be the additive. We've got to get more defensive minded and getting stops and creating havoc on defense, and that's going to be our aim as we get ready to play these games. It's a big game. Every game's a big game. We talk about winning a conference championship. You got to be able to take care of home and go out and steal some games on the road. We've had some opportunities, and we'll have more. But it's early on. It's 3 games into the league play, and sometimes you start playing, and you got to kind of recalibrate and understand. It's one thing to talk about the sense of urgency, and teams are familiar with you, that you've got to really make sure that everybody's on the same page. And that's something we've got to do. We've got to get the other guys involved. We've got to get the Trey Thompson. That's why I thought the second half of the Auburn game, I thought we saw more true of how our team it will be. It's not going to be a 1-2 punch. It's not just going to be Darrell and Barford. We've got to have Trey getting in there, getting us 8 and 6, what he gave us. Cook came in and gave us some quality minutes. Darius Hall, I thought he went 3 for 3, played really, really well. And so we got to get those guys as well as a guy like CJ. So our bench is very, very important. And I've said it all year long. It's going to be the difference in how good this team can be. And so we've got to continue to build this bench and really play much better in SEC play.
All right, Phil. We'll get Mike to get that.
Yeah, Mike, pretty universally, LSU's pretty much picked 14th in the preseason polls, and they're obviously playing a lot better than that, it looks like. Just what's your take on them being picked so low, and what are they doing maybe that's enabled them to bounce back?
Somebody asked me the same thing about Mississippi State. Somebody asked me about Auburn as well. I wonder who picked those guys. It's a good league. Good league. It's very, very competitive. It's very competitive. Yeah, it's very, very, very competitive in our league. And we've seen it in non-conference play. These teams are playing well, played tough schedules, and they picked up in conference play. I think it makes for an exciting conference race. But give Will Wade credit for coming in and getting those guys continue to be on the same page. And I just think the Waters kid has really helped them. Epps is playing, out of his mind. They've got 3 guys that are scoring in double figures, but they got other guys that are capable. When you look at Sampson, he was a double-figure scorer last year. The Mays kid is playing well. So they got some talent on that team.
Cook healthy? I don't think he came back in after he got hurt the other day.
Yesterday, I think he got some treatment, so we'll see if he can go in practice today. He twisted his ankle pretty good, so we'll see.
Gaffer looks like he was gimping a little bit. Is he all right?
Yeah, Gaffer's fine. He was fine.
Any concern about his fouls, just kind of the touch fouls and stuff he's been?
He just got to learn. I think that's going through the wars. We said it early in the non-conference, and I thought he kind of figured some things out. And then as we get into conference play, you can see some of the little ticky-tack fouls. I think he got a couple of them just reaching over a guy that was probably 15 feet out on the floor, and that's just going to come from experience. He's got to learn it.
Michael, with Waters, I think he's 4th in scoring, leading the league in steals, leading the league in assists. Did you happen to see that blocked shot he had that clinched the Houston game? I don't know if he blocked a shot and he's like 5'10" or something. Just Was he a guy you saw out on the circuit, like the AU circuit and recruiting, and just what have you thought
No,
about
I did
him as a
not.
player?
I did not. I saw him even in Maui do the same thing. I think he blocked the shot to close the game out. So I've seen that. Just a pretty heady kid. Probably one of those kids that's a gym rat and just like a little coach out there on the floor. It seemed like he calms them down. I think it was a tremendous pickup for Will, for LSU, for their team. But he's just seemed like he's playing a lot ahead of his years. He's a freshman, but he's playing like a junior, almost like a senior at times. But he's leading that basketball team, and that's pretty impressive.
And they won at Memphis, they won at A&M, so they're 2-0 on the road, and beat Michigan out in Maui. How impressive is that? That they won away from home, and I guess how big a concern is that when they're coming here?
Well, they're battle tested. I think they've been in big games, so it won't faze them. I mean, they're going to come in here like any other team, come in here and we've got to defend the home court. That's the most important thing. They're going to come here to try to win. We want to defend the home court. And that's our aim, is to make sure we come out and play the way we're capable of playing. You play efficient basketball with the understanding that defense is what we're going to really, really harp on.
Talk about defense. Just the three-point line's been tough the last couple of games. Like Auburn, I think, was 11 of 30. What do you do just to improve your three-point defense?
I think we got to be there with them. I thought we did a pretty good job in the second half of the Auburn game. I thought in the first half they came out a lot of emotion, and that's what they do. They spread the floor and ran a lot of screening pops with their big young kid, and he made a couple of shots for them. I thought we was better in the second half. So we just got to be. We got to be there with those shooters and make them drivers. And when you do that, to me, it's about defense, having that third and fourth and fifth effort, and that's what we've not been getting. And but I'm really believing that our bench will help us solve that, because you got to have energy out on the floor. You got to have guys who are not tired, and we've having some guys that are spent, that I think are not. They're not making that extra effort that you got to have.
Darius Hall, after this last game, you figure he'll figure more into
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, Mike, kind of along those lines, in conference play, I mean, Daryl's averaging over 38, Jalen over 35, Beard over 32. I mean, do you want to get their minutes down a little bit?
There has to. I think if we're going to be effective, it has to. If we're going to be the efficient team defensively and offensively, be in attack mode, I think that's what's got to happen. Early in the year, that's how we. I think the reason why those guys were efficient, because they had guys coming in and giving them breathers, and guys that came in actually and kind of took the tempo up, and defensively and offensively did some things, and that's why to me the great sign was seeing a guy like Trey come out and play much, much better, be more assertive, more aggressive. Darius coming out, we know defensively he's going to get after it. And I think Cook is a guy that fixes a lot of things on our defense, and that's I always talk about having blue-collar guys and white-collar guys, and sometimes you can have some guys that are too white-collar. That means it's more about the offensive side of the ball. Well, we got to be a team that's defensively, and we got to score on the other end too, but we got to be able to stop people, and we hadn't done that efficient enough, I think, as we got into conference play.
And so you just give Jones and Hall more minutes to.
Yes, they've got to play. I think they got to come out and produce. I think Bailey, we saw him play well, so we've got the people there. Now it's just a matter of them going out and having opportunities to go out and play and help this team.
And you guys had some rough patches last year. Got over them. How much does it help to have a lot of experienced players back who have been through, maybe a tough week like this past week, and they know it's not the end of the world?
Well, we talk about one game, don't make your season, and obviously two don't make your season. Those teams did what they're supposed to do. They took care of the home court. We've got to do the same thing, and I think we've got to get it where we can make that travel with us. The defensive mindset traveling, being in that attack mode, getting to the free throw line as opposed to opponents getting to the free throw lines. As I said, when you look at some of the stats, it's kind of of course you had that one game where one team shot 40 free throws and we shot maybe 12 or something like that. There, it kind of skews everything. But we got to be the team that's going to get to that free throw line, and we got to be able to take care of the ball. We got to create some havoc with our defense, and I just think our defense hadn't been doing that lately.
Coach, offensively, I was just thinking about, the screen and roll game and some of these guys being more active? How much more you want to see guys being active like Dustin Thomas, the screen and roll game? When they're in there, sometimes you guys maybe are a little stagnant, maybe standing around looking at a guy like Barford or Macon to see if they create. But maybe that screen and roll game, those guys can get that going, be more active.
Well, it's amazing that, and when you got certain guys out there, the ball moves and people move and we get great shots. We saw that the other night. But I think when you get tired, I think that's when you get stagnant. You don't move, the ball don't move. Even on the screen and roll, I think they're still holding to the ball at time. Again, I just think it's my deal is more about the defensive side of the ball. That's what I'm thinking about. I think offensively we're going to be fine. We just got, when they get tired, I think that's when you tend to see us stand and hold the basketball. But when we're pushing the ball and getting into our offense, or even running in a half-court set, a lot of us is precision and ball movement and people movement, getting it inside, play inside out. And I don't think we have done that enough as we got to this point of the schedule. And again, teams are trying to take away certain things from us. If you're a good team, then you got to make that adjustment. You got to take what the defense is giving you. And we got to make shots. I thought even in the Auburn game, we had shots. We just didn't make some shots.
Mike, with the defense, what are you doing in practice this week to get their intensity back?
We're going to ramp it up. We're going to ramp it up. Trust me, we're going to ramp it up.
Did you get a chance to see that the Williams, the game-winning shot he hit against A&M? And I guess he hit 2 big threes in the final seconds. What do you think of a guy that hits shots?
Oh, the Waters kid? Tell me
What did I say?
You said Williams, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry, talking about Waters. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw one of the shots he hit. I didn't see the last one. I saw the one right before that, and it was one of those ones where like, oh man, what a shot! And I think that's when they was up, and it might have been up 5 at that time, and he shot it from like 35 to 38 feet out with 2 guys on him. And so just tells you he's making big plays for him. But he's done that throughout the year for him.